With so many tiers that AirGPU has to offer, and knowing that Hogwarts Legacy is quite the demanding game, I wanted to see which tier of AirGPU was the best of the best. Who will win? The A10G of the AWS machines, or the A5000 of the RTX series? Both are rated to be just as powerful as the RTX 3080, so let's see how things look in 4K. First off, the shaders are here, and apparently they're here to stay. Both machines had to load them, but only took about 3 minutes for each. Graphics on both are set to Ultra. Both the A10G and the A5000 get DLSS set to quality on default, and ray tracing is also defaulted to off. We'll play with the scaling settings with RTX off first. Now I know the A10G tier is quite expensive, but you do get what you pay for. Take a look at these cutscenes in 4K. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, a trans woman in Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling's not gonna like this. So how well does scaling affect these frames? Ready for the test?
I promise to tell you everything, but it's perhaps best I do that later.
Ignore me, I'm gonna tell you now. I initially have scaling turned off and I get around 40 frames in the bar. With FSR 1.0 on performance, I get around 45 to 60 frames. Does DLSS at performance do similar? Yeah, 50 to 60 FPS while in the bar. And on ultra performance, I get around 60, maybe even above that. But the real test is outside, which tanks the performance down to 40 or even lower. But I'm actually okay with this, so let's run with it. Since I'm in Ohio, the closest A10G server to me is in North Virginia. Latency is just around 20 milliseconds for me, which is fantastic. This also means that combat comes easy.
Ready to get thrashed?
Shut up, noob. Activating the NVIDIA Reflex in the options should also help, but even if it's not, as long as you have chosen a server with the A10G that is close to you, you shouldn't have much latency issues. Now, as long as you have the money for it, the A10G tier is a solid choice. We also have a 10% off coupon to help you with those costs. Now, the A5000 tier is only accessible through the RTX series lines of machines. These are only available in the US as of now. They are powerful and considerably cheaper than the AWS line. You'll spend a lot less with these than the A10G counterpart. If you can go this route in the US, do it. It'll save you money in the end. Now, bitrate with these machines is not limited to 40 megabits per second, so it's possible to get an even clearer stream than with the A10G. I'm using the New York server, and I get just as good as latency as I would with the North Virginia AWS server. Since latency is so good, combat flows well. The frames were virtually the same as they were in the A10G tier. This just proves how similar these two tiers are to each other. Now, the last point I wanted to cover was ray tracing. Does it make a serious difference? Honestly, if you think it's worth it to you, then have at it, but it's not really worth it for me. One thing's for sure, it will tank your FPS. Colors and shadows do look defined, but honestly, things don't look that different. Maybe I need more reflective surfaces and lights, but it's not really that kind of game. It's not Cyberpunk, you know? It was a magical blast playing on both, so if you have access to any of these machines, either will do just fine. Now, I'm personally leaning towards the A5000 only because it's cheaper, and the RTX series provides more bitrate with an M.2 SSD cloud storage for a little more bang for your buck. Our 10% off code works for both, so make sure you use it for any and all AirGPU credit purchases. If you like this overview of Hogwarts Legacy on the top tiers of AirGPU, give us a like. Also, make sure to join as a member of the channel or join our Patreon in the links below. And above all else, make sure to subscribe to keep it locked right here at the only place where you can do battle in gaming heaven, Cloud Gaming Battle. And no, I don't look ridiculous, thank you very much.